Out of the 4 models of the iPhone 12 series, by default, it does already look like the iPhone 12 is more of the sensible one to get, especially following the iPhone 11 and the iPhone XR from before. I might still have some concerns, but based on my experience with the iPhone 12 mini from before, the 12 is looking like the sensible one to get. This is my first impressions of the iPhone 12. Let's go. Hi, Ben from Lover of Tech. If you enjoy videos like this and you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you're part of Team TLS, the Tech Lover Squad, so you don't miss any future videos on the channel. Now, first, I have to give a big shout out and thank you to Vodafone UK for supplying the iPhone 12 for testing and review. There'll be links in the description below for all the latest deals that you can find on the iPhone 12 on Vodafone UK as per usual. The support from them has been great for the channel, so definitely go check them out. Now, when it comes to the build and the design, this is following my experience of the iPhone 12 mini when I used it all the way down to the same product red color that I have for the 12 with everything I liked and disliked. Definitely, I liked the fact that they went with a brushed aluminium finish for the frame, which is much more preferred compared to the stainless steel that you find on the Pro series. The button placements for the power, the volume keys and the silent switch are spot on, and definitely the more boxy overall flat design definitely works better compared to the Pro Max. I still do wish that there was a matte finish for the back, but look, I have to admit the glossy finish that they went with here pretty much holds up fingerprints a lot better than I expected, just like I said with the 12 mini. The only annoying reminder that I have to have with the current iPhones and the 12 not being an exception is the fact that they still use a lightning port. Personally, I don't know when Apple will switch to USB-C on iPhones, if they're going to actually do it at all in the future, but it just feels so out of place compared to all the devices I use now. Next is the display, and Apple are pretty much rocking the same as what they said before with what they're calling their Super Retina XDR OLED display with a maximum peak brightness of 1200 nits when you're watching HDR content, for example, and 625 nits for peak sustained brightness in normal situation. It is a 6.1-inch display with a resolution of 2532 by 1170. Like I've said, Apple with their weird screen resolutions as per usual. Again, firstly, let me just list all the things that I like about the display, my favorite things, right? Firstly, the overall brightness and the brightness management, especially in auto mode, is really good, probably down to the Face ID sensors. The color accuracy is on point, the touch response is class leading with some of the best haptic feedback you're gonna get on any smartphone at any price point, which is really good. The typing experience as well, it's on point. It's one of the things I really like about it, and the fact that it's a flat display, when you're even putting things like screen protectors on there, it makes life so much easier. No accidental touches. Well done to Apple, please, for sticking with flat displays. But the biggest one for me missing is the lack of any high refresh rate at 90Hz or 120Hz for a phone at this price in its caliber. It's definitely a missed one. Yeah, you know what? It's a good 60Hz panel, probably the best 60Hz panel you're gonna find, but nonetheless, it's a 60Hz panel. Now, performance wise, the iPhone 12 is solid. It is rocking Apple's new A14 Bionic chip, which is obviously on their first 5nm process. It does support 5G, but you're still getting the base storage at 64GB and RAM at 4GB. These two last parts, these are the things when it comes to the storage and the RAM off the gate, are the things I seriously dislike about the iPhone 12 when it comes to the price that it starts at £799. Yes, if not more RAM, then more storage. If not more storage, then definitely more RAM at that base price. And yes, I know, iOS doesn't really give you crazy power features and it doesn't really tax or push the specs on this phone in that way on a basic level. But then again, the specs and the performance like what we have here with Apple's optimization is still really good. You're looking at 5 years of system OS update versions, and that's really going to be one of the main benefits that you have. Although there's no true multitasking here, minus obviously the chipset, I do still low-key feel a bit concerned when it comes to the base storage and the RAM over long term when it comes to app switching and task switching. Obviously, there is way more to the A14 platform with Apple Silicon, but just rest assured, man, Apple are the best in the game when it comes to system on a chip design at the minute. Let's look at the battery capacity. Battery wise, the iPhone 12 is rocking a 2850 mAh cell. It does support 20-watt charging, but there is no charger in the box. Just remember that this time, and I've discussed it in lengths. I've even made videos about it, talked about it on live streams. You're going to be able to see them in the cards above or the links in the description below. There is wireless charging with MagSafe as they introduced with it, but there is no reverse wireless charging. Just that to consider as well. I've already done a full charging test video on the iPhone 12 Pro, which should translate to the same as the iPhone 12. So definitely go check that out and see the recharge time on it. I'm gonna definitely still need more time until it gets to the full verdict for my review. But I would definitely say the battery performance on this so far seems okay enough to good. Now, to no one's surprise, when it comes to a new iPhone each year, you do get a new version of iOS. I know WWDC is around the corner for iOS 15, but we are rocking iOS 14. New additions are such as things when it comes to the app library like they introduced, which is definitely like Apple's own version of the app drawer. Finally, you can bring custom widgets onto the home screen and also make custom icons through Siri shortcuts. Yeah, it's fast and responsive, no surprise, it's fluid, and always with things like the native apps and exclusive features to iOS such as iMessage, FaceTime, AirDrop. This is the thing that really draws people into iOS. Obviously, there's nothing too intensive when it comes to iOS, and it kind of makes sense. For this display size, you can kind of get away with it versus the 12 Pro Max, but I would still like to have a bit more intensive stuff, so I hope they bring that in the future. I still wish with picture-in-picture it still worked with YouTube Premium, but I'm gonna allow Apple. That's just Google being petty, and I hope they fix that on iOS. Now, in terms of the camera, I've not used it as much, but to be honest, I don't think it'll be anything different to what I actually used when it came to the iPhone 12 mini, but be sure I will still do an ultimate camera comparison on it just in case there are some slight differences. But if there's anything to go by, it should pretty much be the same as the iPhone 12 mini. So yeah, you don't have any LiDAR scanner on there. There's no dedicated telephoto zoom on here. It's just the main wide 12 megapixel sensor with the larger f1.6 aperture, 12 megapixel ultra wide, and that is pretty much what you have with the dual camera. Yes, you still do get Dolby Vision HDR, but it is limited to 4K 30 frames a second rather than 60 frames a second at 4K like the Pro models, and you don't get Pro RAW. Just bear that in mind if you wanted that. If my experience by the iPhone 12 mini is anything to go by, then yeah, the 12 is looking kind of promising. Now look, although I've stated with my initial concerns that I have with the iPhone 12, such as 4GB of RAM, the base storage of 64GB of storage, for someone like me who values a high refresh rate display as well at this price, not having it on the 12, yeah, it's looking kind of suspect. But at the same time, with all of that said, the iPhone 12 out of the 12 series is still looking like the sensible one, especially following the success of the iPhone 11. So even with the price increase, it still kind of seems sensible to get. That is it for me. Did you pick up the iPhone 12 out of the 4 new iPhone 12 series model? If you did, what do you think? Do you think it's worth it? What's your concerns? What do you want to see in the full review? Let me know in the comment section below. That is it for me, man. Ben from Lover of Tech. If you enjoy videos like this and you're new to the channel, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you're part of Team TLS, the Tech Lover Squad, so you don't miss any future videos on the channel. I hope you're all safe during this time. I will catch you in the next one. Peace.